As India gears up for the G20 presidency in just over a month from now, observers are anticipating a significant shift in the policy framework and decisions that have largely proven inadequate and ineffective in recent times. The failure of this mechanism in international diplomacy is all too clear, with the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war going from bad to worse, and the resulting economic and diplomatic fallouts for all to see. A number of countries around the world are struggling with skyrocketing debt, with no immediate resolutions in sight. With export indices falling and foreign reserves depleting, several countries are on the verge of defaulting on their loans and face dire shortages of essential fuel supplies. In South Asia alone, as many as 3 countries, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and Pakistan, have been appealing to the global financing body, the IMF, for urgent assistance. India, however, has proven its economic resilience through the grim pandemic wave and the downturn that followed. India is now being viewed as a model to be emulated by all. United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres recently urged New Delhi to mobilize G20 nations to assist those developing countries who are saddled with debt.
And I count on India's support in mobilizing G20 countries around debt relief. Many developing countries are at or near debt distress and require multilateral action, including the expansion and the extension of the G20 debt service suspension initiative.
The IMF's World Economic Outlook estimated that worldwide inflation will be 8.8% in the 2022 fiscal year. Pakistan and Bangladesh, however, are currently grappling with historically high rates of inflation at nearly 20% and 10%, respectively. Inflation in the island nation of Sri Lanka touched the record mark of over 73% last week. While its neighbors struggle, India's timely macroeconomic interventions and structural reforms have not only assisted in containing inflation by improving productivity, but have also propelled the country to the 5th largest economy in the world. Indian monetary policy has stayed on course to restore price stability and has by and large alleviated cost of living pressures. India has been among the best performers when it has come to containing inflation. Despite dealing with inflation, India was also able to keep their welfare programs on track.
From then till today, we continue the free food grain program for 80 crore Indian citizens.
Because of prudent and forward-thinking economic decisions in the last few years, India is now in a position where it can not only meet demands for its own vast population, but can also help those countries in distress. India's economic model was recently praised by the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres.
My feeling is that instead of subsidizing things, it is necessary to subsidize people. And India has today one of the most expanded programs of social welfare in the world, providing hundreds of millions of families with financial support.
Looking back on recent global events, we see that India has established itself as one of the key players in world geopolitics. India has garnered praise world over, from the IMF and the United Nations to wealthy and underdeveloped countries alike. India's holistic approach for development has not only benefited its citizens, but has also benefited the interests of the larger global community. Observers speculate that India will continue to be a critical player in global geopolitics. The Brand India model of economics, diplomacy and dialogue, and climate change will be an example for countries world over.